Hello, my name is Mike Miller. I live in a small town in Northeast Ohio. You may be wondering who I am and what this video is all about. I spent most of my career as a sales executive in the insurance industry. Having earned my MBA from one of the top 10 business schools in the U.S., I was climbing the proverbial corporate ladder. Then someone shared some business concepts with me that changed everything. Implementing the strategies outlined in this video message, I've been able to earn over $1 million. I would like to share these concepts with you now. What I want to do is have a business conversation with you for a minute. First of all, let's think about this for a second. This is essentially just a timeline that we're probably all familiar with. We've seen it in schools and everywhere else. It's just a timeline throughout history. This bubble here represents the baby boomers. They've driven every economic trend since the day they were born and as they've moved on down this timeline as they got older. That's everyone born between 1946 and 1964. If we think about it for a second, that's 78 million people that it represents, and according to many economists, they actually represent 50% of all the dollars being spent in our economy. The thing is, if we just look at the trends and what they've driven, and we think about where they are now, they have several concerns. One of these concerns is obviously retirement. Let's look at another timeline for 1 second, and let's just talk about your life. Think about that sermon that you were told when you were growing up. You know, go to school, get good grades, get a good job. Well, basically, this is age 18 to 24, 25, and is defined as the college years. Then 25 to maybe 65, that's the working years. Then 65 to 75 are the golden years. If we look at what is happening now in regards to this retirement age, it just keeps getting pushed further and further back from what was 65 is now 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73. Before too long, we're starting to run out of time before we can actually even think about enjoying those golden years. Now, even if we're able to retire at age 65, and we think about it, that's 40 years working for some company. At roughly 50 hours a week for those 40 years, that is the equivalent of 100,000 hours of work. The problem is that many companies are adopting an unwritten policy when we start getting down this timeline somewhere in this area, mid to late 40s and 50s, early 60s. They're starting to figure out that, hey, you're too expensive to keep on their payroll. It's a whole lot cheaper to hire a new person that's coming out of school right here to do your job. In fact, they could probably get 2 for 1 many times, and so many companies are adopting this as a business model. So you've got to think about those 100,000 hours. That's really the cap of your income. If your income is a function of your time, you will never have enough money. And if you are ever in a situation where you can't work, your income completely stops. That is not good. So you can see baby boomers have some real money concerns. If we just move back over here for a second and we talk about these baby boomers, they've got some real concerns other than money as well. Not only are they concerned with retirement, but they also want to look better, they want to feel better, and they want to lose weight. As a result, there has been a huge surge in the wellness industry over the past 10 years. Just look around you and you can see evidence of it everywhere in our society. Health food stores, gyms, new beauty products, weight loss programs, you name it, they are popping up everywhere. Well, let's take a closer look at this wellness industry. Let's talk about the supplement industry. It's a multi-billion-dollar-a-year industry. Let's talk about the weight loss industry. Again, another multi-billion-dollar-a-year business. The skincare industry, another huge multi-billion-dollar-a-year business. What's happening is that these baby boomers are spending their dollars at a store. This is your local health food store, your local grocery store, even your big box stores like Costco's or Sam's or the department stores at the mall, those types of places. They're spending those dollars there looking for things to help them feel better, look better, and lose weight. Now here's something very interesting and exciting when you grasp what is happening. It is not just the baby boomers that are spending money on these products, because the boomers have been educating the generations behind them to not do what we did, educating them to be more proactive with their financial future because they know the company's not going to take care of you. They're telling their children and their children's children to also be more proactive with their health. So what we have is, for the first time ever, the largest buying population in the world. This big bubble actually doesn't have a backside. So even our 3-year-olds are already using wellness products to be proactive with their health. Now, what I figured out is that the average household is spending somewhere between $150 to $300 a month buying goods and services within these categories. In fact, according to economic expert Paul Zane Pilzer, within the next 24 months, this will be about $1 trillion a year in business. That's a lot of business. Those dollars are going somewhere being spent with somebody. Now, What our company has done is come into the marketplace with a different method of product distribution. In other words, we're not in any retail stores. We're not in any infomercials. You won't find us at a local supermarket or anything like that. What we do is move the product directly from the manufacturer to the end user. We say to the consumer, look, we will provide you with higher quality products for the same or less money, and we'll deliver them directly to your front door. Now, as a whole, our company actually pays out 53% of their sales volume back to the representative force, which are people like you and I. For illustrative purposes and for the sake of easy math, let's assume you're earning an average of 20% for redirecting people to your virtual store. Your earnings could actually be more or less. It will vary, but 20% is a fair estimate. Also, let's assume the normal household spends an average of $200 a month in these wellness products like vitamins, skincare products, personal care products like shampoo, conditioner, and shower gel, meal replacement products like shakes, bars, and energy drinks, whatever the case may be, and they just start shifting their spending to your virtual store. That's $200. Okay, well, no big deal. You're getting your products delivered directly to your front door. It's simple, it's convenient, and it's easy. Now, let's just hypothetically say you're able to educate 4 other people to also shift $200 for a total of $800 of business. And for this example, you're being paid 20% back to you in the form of commission by the way of that referral. That's $160 in commissions to you. Now, that may not seem like a lot of money until you think about what that $160 represents to you. This is residual income. You keep getting paid every month when your customers reorder their products. This is wealth strategy number 1. Create residual streams of income. In this scenario, residual income is created each time your customers reorder products from your virtual store. In other words, once you create a customer, you get paid. But unlike traditional income sources where you only get paid once, you get paid every time that customer places an order. Now think about this for a minute. Do these customers only buy these types of products one time? No, they buy them again and again and again. And you keep getting paid again and again and again. And when you keep adding new customers each month to your existing repeat customer base, well, you can see your income potential can be quite significant. Now think about this. These people are spending this money regardless. They're going to spend it somewhere. All we're doing is educating people on how they can get higher quality products for less money or the same money they're spending now. Have it delivered to their doorstep, and we pick up residual income in the process. Well, obviously, these folks are going to ask 2 simple questions. Number 1, how can I get $160 a month in residual income? And 2, what if they have some other people they want to refer to the company that also want to shift their spending? And let's say each of them, or maybe you, found a few more customers, and each one of them found 4 new customers. We now have a total of 20 customers. And if they're all doing $200 in business, that would be a total of about $4,000 of business. And assuming you are earning the same 20% commission, that is $800. Now get this. That $800 of residual income represents the second major wealth strategy. Increase your income through time leverage. At this point, you are not only getting paid for the effort you put forth, but you are getting paid on the efforts of others. J. Paul Getty is famous for his quote, "I would rather get paid on 1% of other people's efforts than 100% of my own." Let me show you what he means by that statement. In the traditional work model, we go to work for 50 hours per week for 50 weeks per year, right? We work for 40 years. Okay, that's a total of 100,000 hours. Now, let's say you have a business that gives you the empowerment of time leverage. Let's say you have 100 people working in your business, all working part-time, putting in 10 hours per week. At 50 weeks per year, that is 50,000 total hours that you got paid on. In 2 years with time leverage, you are accomplishing what would take you 40 years to do on your own. When you invest your time in a business that has both residual income through repeat customers and leverage through getting paid through the efforts of others, you have the perfect formula for time freedom and wealth creation. At this point, we need to take a look at what Robert Kiyosaki talks about in his book, Cash Flow Quadrant. Here he basically explains that income comes into our household through one of 4 categories. We're all familiar with this one. This is the employee, or that income reported on the W-2 that most people are used to getting at the end of the year. This is the type of income that we go to school to learn how to earn. Of course, there's also the small business income. This represents all kinds of small business owners as well as professionals like real estate agents, surgeons, lawyers, etc. If you are in either of these quadrants, you have a problem. It doesn't matter how much money you earn, because if you're not working, you're not getting paid if your income stops, and that is not good. And if you look at how much education we go through, think about this for a moment. We go through 14,000 hours of public education just to finish school. Then we go through another 6,000 hours of education just to get our undergraduate degree, or about 20,000 hours total. And in my case, it took 3 more years to get that MBA. We go through all this education to learn how to earn this type of income. And this is what Kiyosaki basically defines as the poor. We go through all that work and we're taught how to be poor, and that's really kind of sad. Clearly, this model we've been taught is broken. The other forms of income that exist are ones that everyone is familiar with. The B stands for big business income. This is companies like Microsoft or Dell Computers. These guys that started these companies, they can disappear, go live on an island somewhere, and no one ever sees them, knows them, or hears from them again, and they're going to live happily ever after. I mean, they are fine. Their business is a growing concern that's producing without them. The I stands for investor income. Income derived from paper assets, real estate holdings, stocks, and bonds. This is the kind of income we're taught in school that you definitely want to have. All of this requires capital to be able to get these kinds of assets, which most people don't have. Well, this half is defined as the rich. The major difference between the E and the S quadrants is that the E's and the S's trade their time for dollars. The rich invest their time and money to acquire assets that create income streams that keep producing income independent of their time. They do not work for money, their money works for them. And you know, the thing is, to get over into the B or I quadrants, you either need to have a great idea, invent something, or you need to start a large company or a big business. Or you can invest a large sum of cash. For example, if you invested $48,000 in a bank CD at 4% interest, you would create a monthly residual income of $160 per month. Most people do not have the means to make these types of investments. Most people don't have a way to get into this quadrant and are stuck on this side. That is why Kiyosaki states it this way, the left side, that for the average individuals going through all this education, all this work, are destined to be poor. The only way that they have the opportunity to come into the big business quadrant is through what we do through direct marketing or network marketing. You are creating a business that produces a stream of income through repeat business, like the big B businesses, that goes on and on because it is the right product at the right time. This, of course, gives you the additional cash and allows you to take part of it and invest in income-producing assets, which leads you to achieving your goal of financial and time freedom. Okay, now you know the 2 major secret strategies of the wealthy. Number 1, create residual income. Keep getting paid over and over again on the work you've done. And number 2, increase your income through time leverage by getting paid on the efforts of others. Now, I have one simple question for you. Do you want to know how you can implement these strategies right now and start reaping the benefits in your life? Get back to the person that shared this video with you and let them know, yes, I want to know more, or thanks, but no thanks.